Hi, I'm Adam C and welcome to another amazing auction here at SupercarFest by Iconic Auctioneers. You've got the classic car auction and some more modern cars over there. There's so much to see, so much to look at, so much to talk about. So let me show you my highlights. So I'm sure your eyes are drawn towards this Mitsubishi Evo 7, this one being the FQ300. Now FQ, I recently learned, stands for factory quick, not quick, because this car could reach 60 miles an hour in 4.5 seconds, 276 horsepower from its 4G63. So it was introduced by Rally Arts UK. The first time they used the FQ name was on the Evo 7. This one's only done 13.8 thousand miles and it's pretty original as well. 30 to 35,000 pounds for the Evo. And behind that we've got this Mercedes CLK 63 AMG. Now just over there is the 63 Black Series, which, you know, you're going to think, oh, it's a rare special car, but actually the CLK 63, they only ever brought 80 of these to the UK and only 32 of them are hardtops. The other 48 were cabriolets. So up from the CLK 55's 5.4 litre V8 came the 6.3 litre V8. So similar power to the Black Series over there that we'll look at in a little bit. And talking of rarity, a BMW 850i. Now at the start of the year I said this year is going to be the year of the BMW 8 Series E31 generation, and we are proving this even more. So this has the V12. This was the flagship, as close to a BMW M car of the 8 Series as was made, and this is an ex-Brunei car. It was originally ordered by the Brunei royal family, only did 4,000 miles in the first few years that they had it, but it now is a UK car. So they got a 5 litre V12, 300 horsepower, 330 foot-pounds of torque. This one hasn't even done 20,000 miles yet, and obviously people say that the engine in this is similar to that of the McLaren F1. Let's kind of gloss over that because that's not important. These are amazing cars in their own right. A great future investment, although 35 to 45,000 pounds is the estimate for this 19,500 mile 850i. Unfortunately, I can't be here for the auction and I can't actually get this video live before the auction happens. There's one car that I'm going to look at. It's not the 944, although an amazing looking 944. It's like a road track racer. But it is indeed the Aston Martin DB7 Vantage. I would love one of these. This one is manual as well, and in the spec that I am after. I'm going to say Johnny English Blue, because I loved Johnny English, and he had a DB7 Vantage in Johnny English 1. It was auto. I watched the film the other day and listened out for it. You can tell it was auto. Most of them are autos. They say they suit an auto gearbox, the DB7, but I want a manual, and this one, the estimate's only 12 to 15,000 pounds. If I'd sold my 944 Turbo by now, this would be... Now, just before we go inside the tent, we've got a pair of actual genuine barn finds. The Lotus Elan Series 4 SE Coupe, 5 to 8,000 pounds for this. Definitely needs recommissioning. They've kept all the dirt over it. And then we have the Jag as well. I think they're the same collection, these two cars, only 2 to 3,000 pounds for the XJ6 barn find. This Renault Spider, or Renault Sport Spider, is one of 60 right-hand drive cars supplied to the UK that came with a windscreen. That was an option. So these have the 4-cylinder engine that came from the Clio Williams. There is a Clio Williams here for sale as well. They later used that engine in the Megane Coupe. Each of the 1,700 cars that Renault Sport made was hand built from start to finish and took about 90 hours to complete. 28 to 34,000 pounds for this rare liquid yellow Renault Sport Spider with only 5,350 miles on this car. We've got the Mini 1275 GT. This is a wooden picket Margrave. So they were a coach builder and they did this quad headlight conversion on the Mini. And look at that. It's so elegant. I don't think it actually goes down. You know, these brackets here make it look like it's a mechanism, but no, that's a fixed leather or vinyl hardtop, but with a Webasto style sunroof all the way back down on this car. It's only a one owner car, and 30 to 40,000 pounds is the estimation of this Mini. Now we've got a pair of 911 homages. We've got the 911 RSR homage and the 911 3-litre RS homage. Now a genuine 3-litre RS could reach about 700,000 pounds. This was originally converted in 1996, but it's still got the 2.7-litre engine, but it's got things like the Fuchs style alloys, it's got Momo steering wheel, RSR bucket seats, and the estimate is only 45 to 55,000 pounds. And then next door, this RSR homage is actually badged and number plated up as an RSR. So it's got a 964 derived flat 6, enlarged from 3.6 litres to 3.8 litres with 300 horsepower. So it goes the part. This one is a little bit more pricey, 80 to 100,000 pounds, but genuine RSR race cars can reach around 200,000 pounds. It's got lightweight components like your fiberglass wings, carbon fiber roof, bonnet and rear wing, correct wheels for the RSR, Bilstein coil springs, and brakes that are derived from the Porsche 917. We've got the Dakar Yellow E36 M3 Evolution, which has the 3.2 litre straight six, upgraded from the M3's 3 litre, so it's got 321 horsepower, and the estimate is 40 to 50,000 pounds. And bang smack in the middle of the tent, we've got this wide body Mercedes 560 SEC, so it's the 5.6 litre. It's only done 13.8 thousand miles. It was built in early 1989, supplied new to Hong Kong with this wide body kit that they believe is a genuine AMG kit, but they've got no confirmation of that. It's got electric Recaro front seats, 5-spoke alloy wheels, and then that full body kit, the spoiler, the wide arches. 55 to 65,000 pounds is the estimate. Now these are mostly the classic cars in the auction. However, this one is not a classic. This is a Moke International 56. It was built in 2021 to celebrate 56 years since the Moke was introduced, and they only made 56 of them. This is number 27. It's got a 1.1 litre 4-cylinder engine, basically from the Mini, 5-speed manual gearbox, 23 to 26,000 pounds for this car with an awning over it. Our next convertible is apparently a one-of-one Tiffany Blue Bentley Continental GTC. This is Celeste Blue Pearlescent is the name of it, made famous by Tiffany & Co. 6-litre W12 on the GTC. It's not the only car in this colour that was made by Bentley, but this one being unique in that it was supplied new to the UK. The first one was in Beverly Hills, but there's since been a GT Speed in this colour and a Bentayga finished in this colour as well. It's got the chrome wheels, very nice finish to that. 75 to 85,000 pounds for this one-of-one, apparently, even though the Beverly Hills one was a GTC as well, different wheels, but one-of-one Tiffany Blue Continental GT. Now we've got all the usual suspects. We've got the Subaru, we've got the Sierra Cosworth, Escort RS Turbo Series 1 and the Clio V6 that you see at so many auctions now. Same with Lotus Carlton. Now last time I came to an Iconic auction there was a Brunei Lotus Carlton that sold for 42,750 and it needed a massive restoration, whereas this one is done. 21,000 miles, it's ready to go. 100 to 115,000 pounds is the estimate for this. Car number 882 and one of just 284 that were made in right-hand drive. And our next car to look at is not a Jaguar XJS. This is a Jaguar Sport XJR-S built by Tom Wilkinshaw Racing. So Tom Wilkinshaw won the Touring Car Championship in a Jaguar XJS and started producing his own body and suspension kits for the XJS under his own Jaguar Sport company that was 50-50 between him and Jaguar themselves. And this was the special version of the XJR-S in 1988, featuring its 5.3 litre V12 engine, its unique body kit, alloy wheels and suspension to celebrate Jaguar's win at the Le Mans 24-hour race in 1988. So they only made 100 of these. This is car number 54. for £50,000 to £60,000 for this rare Jaguar XJ RS. Now we've got this lineup of cars before we go into the tent, including the CLK 63 Black Series, one of just 25 that was supplied to the UK. It's only done 9,000 miles. They made 700 of these in total. So yes, this is a bit rarer than the CLK in the UK. Yes, it is rarer to see a UK supplied car, but more of these have been imported into the UK since then than the CLK 63 AMG. So actually, I'd still say it's rarer to see one of these in the UK than it is to see a Black Series, although the price on this doesn't reflect that. So this is a little bit more, £150,000 to £180,000 for this car. They've been creeping up in value over the last 4 years. Now a bit further down, we've got a few more Mercs. We've got this Audi R8 here in purple. I believe it's got the Audi R8 GT rear wing. This is a V10, and then that beautiful paintwork. And then this Ferrari 430 here is a fairly famous car. So this car was owned by Tony Iommi. I don't know how to pronounce the surname. He is the guitarist of Black Sabbath, understood to be one of the final 10 430s produced. 430 Spider with F1 paddle shift transmission, this one. 4.3 litre V8, 483 brake horsepower, and being a late production example, it benefits from carbon ceramic brakes as standard. They were a 20 grand option on earlier model years one. It's also got front and rear parking sensors and a carbon fibre package, including the steering wheel inside. So a Black Sabbath 430 Spider, £60,000 to £70,000. Further down, we've got this Mercedes SLK 55 AMG, and you'll notice, look, the little logo here. This is one of only 6 factory-built Brabus K8s that are in the UK. So it was launched at the Geneva Motor Show, or the Geneva Salon, as it was called back then, as a performance kit for the SL55, but it was a lot more than that. So engine modifications required that each Brabus dealer had to have their own engine builder to raise the output from 493 horsepower up to 530, but this one has probably nearer 550, they say. 550 horsepower with the Brabus performance package, and obviously the body kit at the front, the Brabus wheels, side skirts, and then round to the rear it's got a deeper diffuser for better road handling as well. It's done just over 20,000 miles, this Brabus legend. 35 to 40,000 pounds is the estimate. And tucked behind another XJS, this massive MAN TGE 180. This was the Adventurer, purchased new by Sam Branson. I think he's the son of Richard Branson. In 2022, he was a massive adventurer, and you can tell at the top you've got a sound system, you've got some kind of deck chairs up there, so you've got a livable space up top, tent box there, and it's a full kitchen inside as well. You've got the off-roading tyres. This has really been used as a proper adventurer vehicle. The cost of the base vehicle was about 60 grand new, and then with all this conversion involved, I think it was about £150,000 cost in 2022 to make this vehicle, and yet they're only asking £50,000 to £60,000. Well, that's the estimation. And as we head inside the tent, we find out that it's not the only famously driven car, because this Mercedes 170S was driven by Marilyn Monroe during her stay in Greece in 1956. And the best thing about this car is it comes with a history file that includes the Greek insurance certificate signed by Marilyn Monroe when she was in Greece. It's only a 1.7 litre engine with 52 horsepower, but 120 to £160,000 is the estimate for this 170S. Now I'm just going to scoot on over to this glorious De Tomaso Pantera GTS from 1975. It's got the 351 Cleveland V8, similar price to the Mercedes, 120 to £130,000. This is a UK supplied car, right-hand drive, and it's been restored to its factory specification. So that matte black bonnet there, the gorgeous blue paint job, and the text down the side is all factory, and then the tan interior inside as well. We've got more low mileage usual suspects at this auction. We've got a 4,000 mile Focus RS Mark 1. They built 4,500 of these, and apparently they made a 4 grand loss each car to the company. So for this low mileage car, the estimate is £55,000 to £65,000, and it neighbours this big turbo Escort RS Cosworth. Only 3,000 miles on this car, £115,000 to £130,000. £2,000, one of the original 2,500 homologation examples from the first year of production. And then completing the RS lineup is this Ford Focus RS 500. They only made 500 of these, and they were all finished in this colour, the matte black. It's actually a 3M film, and they do fail after a decade or so of existing, but this one all looks pretty good. They all came with black wheels as well. This car's only done 4,458 miles from new and 75 to 85,000 pounds. I mean, the Ford market is always a strong one, especially low mileage RS cars. Now we've got the Lotus Turbo Esprit over there, got a pair of V8 Vantages, a car over there that I'll have a look at a little bit later. But the next car for me to gorp at is this AC Ace Bristol. So the Bristol was the more desirable car of the AC Aces. They first appeared with their own 105 brake horsepower 6-cylinder engine, but eventually they put the Bristol straight six, which was derived from BMW, with 128 horsepower. So this is a 1959 car, 180 to 220,000 pounds. You've got the radio in between the seats here. It's displaying 47,000 miles. Obviously this is what then became the legendary Shelby Cobra after they put the Ford 5-litre and then 7-litre V8 in this small English classic car. Tucked in the corner we've got this Lamborghini Diablo VT 6-litre. This was the final iteration of the Diablo after Audi bought a Lamborghini with the 300 ZX headlights and its 6-litre V12 up from 5.7. This was a Switzerland registered car originally, but brought to the UK in 2012. 350 to 400,000 pounds. People aren't really noticing, but Diablo prices are steadily rising in the last few years. And then at the back we've got the Lamborghini Countach 5000 Quattrovalvole, which is one of the 88.5 examples, which is the latter year of 1988 that was more desirable. It's got a bit of an upgrade, redesigned side skills to improve airflow to the rear brakes, and previewed elements to the later anniversary models styling. 550 to 650,000 pounds, one of just 17 right-hand drive examples of that car. Now this is quite the special corner of the tent. We've got this 992 Carrera GTS. This car was owned by Chris Rea. Unfortunately, Chris passed away last year, 22nd of December, so he couldn't quite drive home for Christmas for another year. This car was acquired by him in 2023 and it's only done 1,242 miles. It was used by him as his personal car, used sparingly you could say. 80 to 100,000 pounds for a car owned by a musical Christmas legend. Sorry to mention the C word so close to the summer. Now we'll just gloss over this Nissan here in the corner. We've got the bulletproof Land Rover, and no, I can't gloss over this. This is the star of the show, Nissan Primera GT Super Tourer. Now this car was one of I think 3 that were the Goodwood members meeting this year. This actually took part on the demonstration. You can tell that it gets used, and I believe the owners of this car own all 3 of them and they're getting rid of this one. Now the estimate's only 80 to 100,000 pounds, but remember this is a race car, it cannot be used on the road. But this car was driven by Anthony Reid in various BTCC rounds in the 1998 British Touring Car Championship. It was also used as Nissan's development car to test the program. This car's now got a fresh engine, it's got all the setup data and 2 sets of wheels that come with this sail. This is the period of my childhood that I remember growing up playing racing games with these touring cars, and this Vodafone livery is one of the most legendary ones in my opinion. Not a lot of parts from the original Primera GT road car were crossed over, but things like the lights and the boot shape. It was basically a way to sell cars by using road cars on the racetrack. People will see them going around and successfully driven, and then they will sell more Primera GTs. Now there's not a lot of Primeras on the road anymore in the UK, but the ones that are on the road are now actually going up in value a little bit. This era, this 90s era, is going up to be the next future classic. You've got the single exit exhaust pipe on this. I bet it sounds amazing. And from inside the tent, back outside again, we've got another one of Chris Rea's own cars. 10 to 14,000 pounds is the estimate for this Fiat 500 from 1972. There is ex-Chris Rea as well. A Rockstar city runabout reimagined for the electric age. It's an EV. And it's not the only Chris selling a car on the auction. This Land Rover Discovery used to be owned by Chris Evans. It was his personal vehicle. Let's have a look. ES Premium, directly offered from Chris Evans, a low-key family wagon, apparently a rare example in classic colours like this dark green with tan interior. But whilst usually I try so hard to bring you the auction before it happens so you can see the cars before buying, unfortunately today's the Friday, the auction is tomorrow, and I need to get home because I'm going to the Isle of Wight takeover this weekend, which will be an upcoming video. So hit that bell when you subscribe to be notified for my Isle of Wight takeover video. But let's fast forward a few days and I will tell you the totals that some of these highlights made in the auction and discuss the results and where the car market is going in 2026. The sale took place on Saturday the 16th of May 2026, and each of these results contains a buyer's premium of 12.5%. So that's already been added onto the figures that I'm going to discuss with you. So we start with the Mitsubishi Evo FQ300, estimate 30 to 35,000 pounds. That sold for 33,750. Bang in the middle. Mercedes CLK 63 AMG Coupe, 28 to 32,000 pounds, 26,458. So not quite the estimate. BMW 850i, 35 to 45,000 pounds was the estimate. It didn't sell, but you can buy it now for 35,000 pounds if you get in touch with Iconic Auctioneers. The Aston Martin DB7 Vantage, estimate was only 12 to 15,000 pounds. It sold for 12,233 pounds. It didn't sell to me, and I kind of think it should have. Missed out there. Lotus Elan barn find. Now, these two barn finds were quite interesting in their figures. 5 to 8,000 pounds was the estimate for the Lotus Elan barn find. It managed to reach 23,062 pounds. So much higher than the estimation. I mean, barn finds, you never know what they're going to make. Some of them are so desirable. Next, we come to the Jaguar XJ6. 2 to 3,000 pounds was the estimate for this, and it reached 225 pounds. There was no reserve on it, and it only got 225, including the premium. 200 quid. Renault Sport Spider, 28 to 34,000 pounds. It went above estimate, 36,562. The Wooden Picket Mini, 30 to 40,000 pounds was the estimation, 28,125. Not quite hitting the estimate. Porsche 911 3-litre RS Homage, 45 to 55,000 pounds was the estimate. It didn't sell, but you can buy it now for 48,000 pounds. The Porsche 911 RSR Homage, 80 to 100,000 pounds. Didn't sell, but you can buy it now for 84,000 pounds. E36 M3 Evo, estimate 40 to 50,000 pounds. It went above 56,250. Mercedes 560 SEC widebody, 55 to 65,000 pounds was the estimate. It sold for 63,000 pounds. The Moke International 56, estimate was 23 to 26. It reached 24,750. The Tiffany Blue Bentley Continental GTC, estimate was 75 to 85,000 pounds. Are you surprised? Didn't sell. But if you really want it, you can buy it now from Iconic for 86,250. Now these few I just touched upon briefly in the video. The Subaru Impreza RA, estimate was 25 to 30,000 pounds. It didn't sell. You can buy it now for 28,000 pounds. Sierra Cosworth, estimate 75 to 85,000 pounds. It sold for 69,750. Escort Turbo Series 1, estimate 85 to 95,000 pounds. It didn't sell, but you can buy it now for £97,750. Apparently it's as close to an original one as possible. It's fairly low mileage, but that's quite high money. Clio V6, 75 to 85,000 pounds. Didn't sell, but you can buy that for £86,000. Lotus Carlson was next, 100 to 115,000 pounds. Remember the X Brunei one sold for the mid-40s? Well, this one sold for £109,125. Jaguar XJ-RS, the Tom Walkinshaw Racing Le Mans Homage, 50 to 60,000 pounds was the estimate, and it reached 53,437. Mercedes CLK 63 Black Series, these are shooting up in value. 150 to 180,000 pounds was the estimate. It reached 193,500. Audi R8 Spider V10 manual supercharged sold for 62,438. Ex-Black Sabbath Guitarist 430 Spider, estimate 60 to 70. It reached 65,250. The Brabus K8, the estimate was 35 to 45,000 pounds. It reached 45,000 pounds. The Man Adventurer, 50 to 60,000 pounds was the estimate. It reached 57,375. The Mercedes 170S that was driven by Marilyn Monroe, bit of a difficult era of car to sell, especially for an estimate of 120 to 160,000 pounds. didn't sell, but you can buy it now for £138,000. Di Tommaso Pantera GTS 120 to 130 was the estimate, didn't sell, but you can buy it now for £130,000. Now the Ford Focus RS Mark I, very low mileage, but a very high estimate of £55,000 to £65,000. It reached £63,000 for a Mark I Ford Focus RS. However, the Escort Cosworth, estimate £115,000 to £130,000, didn't sell. You can buy it now for £128,000. And the Focus RS 500, the estimate £75,000 to £85,000, didn't sell. You can buy it now for £85,000. AC Ace Bristol, another difficult era to sell. 180 to 220 was the estimate, didn't sell. £200,000 buys you that car if you want it. Lamborghini Diablo VT 6 litre, we're getting to the higher value vehicles. The estimate was £350,000 to £400,000. It sold for £376,875. Lamborghini Countach, estimate £550,000 to £600,000. Didn't quite hit the estimate, but it sold for £512,500. Chris Rea's 992 Carrera GTS, estimate £80,000 to £120,000, sold for £96,750. Now, the Nissan Primera Super Touring car. The estimate on this was £80,000 to £100,000. It sold for £96,750. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with that car. Surely you're going to still use it. Bring it to Goodwood, Festival of Speed. I want to see more and more of that car. Then Chris Rea's Fiat 500 EV. The estimate was only £10,000 to £14,000, but it managed to reach above the estimate, £23,625. So maybe Chris Rea is more important than having to put up with an electric vehicle, or maybe genuinely EV converted classic cars have a strong market right now. I don't know, I haven't looked. And I won't. And finally, Chris Evans' Land Rover Discovery. The estimate was £15,000 to £18,000. It didn't sell, but the buy it now price is £14,500. So I hope you enjoyed that video from the Iconic Auctioneers sale at SupercarFest. Sorry I couldn't get the video out before it happened, but sometimes it's more fun to see the cars, see the estimate, and then see the results at the end. So I'll see you all in my next video from the Isle of Wight takeover, where I get a police report filed against me. But for now, thanks for watching.